So let's start with the week, like last week's games then. So which game impressed you? Which one did you really enjoy watching?
Both the games on Sunday, actually. I can't choose between them.
Yeah,
They were both fantastic. What an advert for the Premier League. Um, the atmosphere
Yeah,
at Leeds was electric, absolutely electric.
yeah,
Great result as well. And then the Newcastle City game, I popped out to the pub to watch it.
yeah.
Um, and funny enough, we was all Newcastle fans, which was good for the day. But it was just brilliant, brilliant day of football. Um, and both games were thoroughly entertaining.
but like, especially because on the City game, when City score early, you normally think, "Oh, that's game over, that's done." They'll score a couple, and obviously like quieting down St James's Park. But then Newcastle, the amount of chances they had, I mean, fair play to them. They got right back in it, and arguably could have won.
Yeah. The intensity of that game was insane. Like you say, they should have scored more. But it looked like Newcastle were the champions, not City.
Yeah, 100%. And like you say on intensity, I mean, even down like in the advert for the Premier League, I just remember sitting there in the 93rd, 94th minute. Newcastle countered City, lost the ball. City countered Newcastle. Like fair play to both of them because there was no sitting back or anything. They were both just going for it to the very last whistle. It was quality.
Oh, it's a brilliant game. Really, really good game. I think I think the Newcastle City game had to be the game of the weekend.
Yeah.
Even
It was, yeah, it was.
it's always great watching us play, but that was just I think it was just because of the gap in such a the between the teams. Obviously, you've got Newcastle who they've got this new ownership, they're investing money in, and you've got City who are kind of like the finished product of what Newcastle are likely to be in 4 or 5 years. But that game was just it did like I say, the intensity was just incredible. It was a really good game to watch.
And they did us a big favour by leaving us as the only club with a 100% record
Which is
left in the Premier League, which was nice.
it's absolutely mental to think because this time last season, after 3 games, we had 0 points.
Yeah,
We
and
were
we were
literally
taking
like,
pelters. We were taking pelters from everyone in the media, every other club's fan base, and now look at us. Like people are saying we're in a title race. I mean,
oh
calm
no.
down on that one as well. But it is nice to be in this position. Don't get me wrong.
See,
We're
I
actually go on, sorry.
no, go on, Paul, go on.
I was going to say we're the only one of the 92 league clubs with a 100% record, I believe.
Hey,
Which is,
I didn't know that one, but
yeah,
that's even better.
I'm pretty sure everyone, Championship League One and League Two, have also dropped points.
That's class.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable, isn't it? It's
Might
unbelievable.
want to double check that, but I'm pretty sure I looked at that on Saturday.
No, I've just checked because I'm on my laptop now as well, and yeah, it's you're bang on.
Which is unusual for us to start the season so strongly.
Well, I think they said it was the first time since 2004-05 that we've won
Yeah,
our first 3 games as well, isn't it? So
which
it
is
just
which
shows,
is madness.
yeah, it
Madness.
shows. And I mean, because it annoys me as well in the media. Obviously, you get some people saying that we're in a title race, and you get other people saying that we haven't played anybody. But to me, like those that are criticizing, I mean, Palace went to Anfield and drew.
yeah,
Leicester, even though they're in a bit of a difficult situation and they've only picked up 1 point so far, they're still a good team. Like they're first 11 and they've played some tidy football this season. It just seems to be a narrative always against us. But
Yeah,
what can you do?
we're hated in the media. I mean, you wouldn't
Yeah.
have handpicked our fixtures, especially not the first two. No one would have said, "Oh yeah, I'll have Palace away first game of the season."
no,
Well, I
None
think
of none
no,
of them would have said it.
they specifically put us on Friday night away at Palace because they thought we would get turned over just as we did at
Yeah,
Brentford last season. But this is different this year. So
yeah, 100% agree with that.
who did Palace just play as well?
Just smash Villa,
Yeah,
yeah,
who F1 tipped to be outrageously good this year.
mm.
The same Villa that got spanked at Bournemouth, and then we've gone and wiped the floor with Bournemouth.
Villa are
It's
crap, man.
yeah, it's about time Arsenal got a bit of respect, to be honest, in the media
Yeah,
Yeah,
and amongst other fan bases. I think a few people are turning their heads. I was watching some talk sport stuff earlier, and Gabby Agbonlahor basically issued an apology to Arsenal for his
yeah.
outburst last season. I think it's slowly starting to turn people's minds, but I don't mind too much either. I'd rather we move in silence, do our own thing. We don't want the hype because we buckle
yeah,
naturally.
Exactly
We
that.
don't want the hype.
Exactly that.
Just do our
Exactly
own
that.
thing, move quietly, and just take each game as it comes. That's all we can do.
We even got some praise from Jamie O'Hara as well, which is obviously a rare thing to happen.
What did he say? Did he? I didn't see that.
He said that we're kind of looking good to watch.
Wow.
So we all know what he's like when he starts flapping his gums. But
He's just bitter because he got released by our academy, didn't he?
Not good enough. Is that right?
Not good enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he's always got some. He's never really got anything nice to say, even when we were doing well last season.
Do you know what? I don't mind it though. He's a Tottenham boy. I wouldn't expect him to be. I'm not nice about Spurs ever. Even if they won the Champions League, I'd find some way to mug it off.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind that he backs his club when he banters us. I wouldn't expect anything else, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, when you put it like that, when you put it like that, very mature.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you listen to him, he's actually all right with the way he speaks about football at times. He's I think probably because he's on the radio and he's in the public eye, he's mellowed and changed a little bit. But
yeah,
I wouldn't expect him to be nice about us. So when he actually is, it is like he means it, so we should take that as a compliment.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
It's all good, really. We're picking up the points. Obviously, the next two games are home games, Fulham and Villa. I'm a little bit worried about Fulham just because they're playing they're playing really well. Obviously, got a result against Liverpool.
They haven't lost yet this season.
No,
so got to give them respect where respect is due.
I know they played some decent opposition as well. So I think the only thing that's kind of making me feel a lot more positive and that we can grind out a result is the fact that it's at home. We do seem so much better and stronger at home and with our crowd as well. It's just going to be buzzing Saturday. Yeah. It's going to be absolutely electric. And then obviously Villa midweek. You never know what's going to happen there. I still think even though Villa have not started that well, they're still a team that can really hurt you. So we'll have to see.
I think they can, yeah. I mean, I know we said take it one game at a time, but I think Fulham at the moment are looking far better than Villa, and that's partly because I don't rate Gerrard at all. Like at the start of the season, I actually tipped Villa to sort of overachieve this season, and I know it's only 3 games in, but I watched them against Everton, and even though they won, they did not look good, and obviously got turned over by Bournemouth and sort of battered by Palace at the weekend. So I think Villa are just another one like Gerrard, just overhyped. But having said that, they'll probably turn us over next week. But we'll get to that after Fulham.
Don't say that.
Hopefully not. No, I think we should be picking up maximum points from our home games, and the only games we should be even considering dropping points are obviously the top teams, City and Liverpool. But even then, they're not the City and Liverpool from last season, are they? So
not yet, anyway.
We'll have to see where we are, and where they are as well. So obviously it takes time. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks. Next couple of weeks.
Yeah, especially United on the 4th as well.
Yeah, but I just think that Liverpool were that bad that they made United look good, which is a really difficult thing to do. Let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean they played well, United, but to me, I can't say like they're going to be like that this season because Liverpool played into their hands and that United could go back to counter-attacking. And over the past 2 or 3 seasons, for as bad as they've been at times, United have always been a good counter-attacking side. So we'll see at the weekend when they play Southampton, it might be a bit more rigid and start playing, like knocking longer balls up to Che Adams again against Lisandro Martinez. So,
and it's an early kickoff as well. So
yeah, we never bet on the early kickoff.
Yeah. We always get turned over.
You learned the hard way as well, yeah?
100%, mate. The amount of accumulators I've done over the years. Even I didn't do one, but Fulham Liverpool in the first game of the season, I'm thinking, oh yeah, Liverpool will coast. And yeah, no, did not happen.
Yeah. I think with the United Liverpool game, I thought United played well for about 20 minutes at the start, and then they gassed a little bit and knew they had to just sit and soak up pressure once they took the lead.
Yeah.
Liverpool and our approach will be so different we'll look to dominate the ball and we'll be quite patient with it. Whereas they literally look to get the ball forward to Salah or whatever in 2 or 3 passes.
And they had no
So-
creativity at all. Because like they
Nothing.
dominated possession, but they couldn't find that one pass to unlock the United defence. Like you said, it would just give the ball to Salah or give the ball to Diaz and hope they can do something special.
It was really easy for United, and I was shocked at what I was watching. But our approach will be very different, so it's hard to sort of decipher what's going to happen in the match because we'll probably expect them to sign 2 or 3 before we play them as well.
Yeah.
There's still time for them to get players back, that they're missing, injured players, get them back, get them fit, and the team to find that fight back, because at the end of the day, they are champions, they are winners, and they're basically us last season. They've just got that many injuries to key players, and then they don't want to go out and buy players just for the sake of it. But I think they're in a position now where then they actually haven't picked up. They actually haven't had a clean sheet, have they, in the last three games?
No, well, Van Dijk's playing like Squalacci at the moment. It's not helping him out. I mean, his defending for the first goal was unbelievably poor. I mean, the rest of them didn't cover themselves in any glory. Don't get me wrong. Like Alexander-Arnold was walking.
He just looks lost. Trent looks
he can't
lost as a
defend.
defender.
I think the time's come for them to move him into midfield.
Especially like they're lacking creativity, because you know that he can pick a pass. He might give the ball away a few times, but he can pick a pass. But on like Van Dijk, what did you make of the old Milner? Well, Milner just really going at him.
I think Milner is not the best player in the world, but he's one of the best professionals. He has standards. He won't not try. And I think he probably just felt Van Dijk was being a little bit complacent, a little bit lazy in the game. The defending for the first goal was amongst the worst bits of defending you'll see all season. He won't get called out for it because he's got credit in the bank, but it was atrocious.
It's just no intensity at all.
Yeah, if an Arsenal player did that, you'd have his character questioned, whether he's got the right mentality for the league and all that.
They'd be picking on the manager as well. They'd be mentioning the manager, but I don't know. It's just you don't expect that from Liverpool to just walk through them.
And clearly Milner doesn't expect it either. Let's be fair, he's a bit part player, but he was given the role of being one of the experienced men in the side or whatever, and he probably felt let down by players that shouldn't let him down.
Yeah,
and I think it's just frustration. I'm sure they sorted it out afterwards, but I think he was probably just a bit peed off with the performance of the guys at the back, to be honest. Because let's face it, United went forward 3 times and scored twice. And it was easy for United to pick their way through. I think just frustration with each other, and that's all it'll be. But that's because of the high standard set, I believe.
Well, I don't mind seeing that either. Like, if I know it was a bit more intense than what you'd expect, but it kind of shows that they care, or at least Milner cares. And you sort of, if someone's made a mistake, you want to see other players, other teammates dig them out for it.
Yeah, definitely. Otherwise, you're not accountable for things that go wrong.
I mean, if he just gives him a pat on the back, he's not really going to. At the end of the day, football's a team game. If you concede a goal, all of the team concede that goal, not just the defender that's up fault or the defender that's not done their job. And I think it's good to see that, that fight and that, passion to want to win the game. But I think obviously the damage was done really in the way that the team were performing. But they'll get stronger. They'll get stronger. It's not, it's just lack of the usual players that they've got. They will get better and stronger by the time that we play them. But we'll just have to see how things go.
Yeah.
Who have they got? Oh, they've got Bournemouth.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite a nice game to play, because I know we took Bournemouth apart, but Bournemouth are a championship side, to be honest. Like, they're not enough investment into that squad.
Yeah.
No, they don't. They're doing like what Norwich do, aren't they? I think just going to cash in.
Which I mean, I don't blame them, because you don't want to see clubs sort of spending too much, not in Forest, and then going straight back down, and then sort of struggling with like the financial repayments. But
well, Forest are investing heavily, aren't they? I think they've signed 17, maybe more now, 17 players.
Yeah, they've signed like a new squad basically, and I know they had a lot of players on loan, but like that is mad. that is genuinely mad. I don't understand, because to me there's like a fine balance. You want to sign players that are Premier League quality, don't get me wrong, but at the same time you don't want to upset the balance of the squad that got you there.
Yeah.
So
maybe
but the trouble is that squad left. I think they had loads out of contract as well. Like even the goalkeeper just jumped ship. They literally had. I think they started pre-season with about 8 players on the books.
Oh,
First team players. So
I didn't realize it was that bad. I know they had a few on loan as well.
Yeah, they literally had no choice but to just go gung ho into the market. And at least I like the fact they've had a go.
Yeah.
Like we've already mentioned, Norwich. They come up, they don't do anything to their squad. They go back down. They come up, they don't do anything to the squad. They go back down. The only changes in their squad is when people retire and youngsters come through.
Yeah.
So at least you give Forest a little bit of credit. They're trying to. I think they just signed Serge Aurier today. I think.
Yeah, he's meant to be doing a medical. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, and Sadibi, the one that was at Everton. I think they're trying to get both.
Oh, the left back. Yeah, they're both.
Yeah, so
fullbacks. Yeah.
They're giving it a proper go, and these have all played in the Premier League as well. So
yeah,
well, Serge Aurier, enough.
Champions League semi-finalist last year as well, wasn't he? Villarreal got to semi-final. As did Coquelin, which was mad.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah,
Villarreal.
I forgot they was in the Champions League last year.
Yeah.
Well, there's 45 minutes away from the final, weren't they? They were knocking Liverpool out at one point. Yeah.
And then they sat back again. They went back to how they played at Anfield, but
yeah. So fair play to them for giving it a go, and I think Fulham have sort of done somewhere in between, haven't they? Sort of recruited a few players, but kept the bulk of what they had.
Yeah. I quite like the business they've done for them. They look good this season.
They do, yeah. Silva's got to crack it at some point, hasn't he?
Yeah.
As a manager.
Yeah.
He's had enough chances in the league. He's got to get it right somewhere along the line. I think, to be fair to what you commented about Bournemouth as well, is they are a Championship side, but I think they've got a Premier League manager. I quite like Parker as a manager.
Yeah.
But they just don't have the infrastructure. Remember Arsenal had 1,000 fans at the grounds?
Yeah, and I mean the Vitality only holds
City Stadium.
Exactly, like that, exactly. Yeah.
They don't have that infrastructure to invest or risk investing.
No, I completely agree.
So it's a shame for them because by all accounts, people tell me it's a nice trip away. I've been to Bournemouth, but only on a stag do.
Yeah.
Nice trip for everybody, especially if the weather's nice like it was at the weekend. Things like that. So it's a ground and a club that people want to see in the Premier League, but unfortunately, I just don't think it'll last.
No, but I guess you also have to remember where they've come from, because I'm pretty sure when Eddie Howe took over, they were bottom of the Football League or around there, and then he did like wonders to get them up to the Premier League. But it's like they are really, like you say, with the infrastructure, a Championship League One club even. So they're punching above their weight.
I believe Southend United, who are bottom or near the bottom of the National League, have got a bigger stadium.
There you go. Yeah,
pretty sure Roots Hall holds 12,000.
Yeah,
it's only down the road from me. But it's that says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What did we think of Saturday then? Performance.
I mean, I'm tempted to just start singing, to be honest, because like that's all the Arsenal fans are doing for like a solid half an hour. I can't wait for this Saturday because obviously 60,000 Arsenal fans. You wonder what it's going to be like, but yeah. I mean, it's going to be crazy, isn't it? But like in terms of the performance, I mean, game was done in like the first 10 minutes. It was just different class. It was nice to like turn on the TV and then just relax watching a game of football.
Yeah, I thought we played really well.
Yeah.
Like you said, job was done. Job was done in the first half, but like some of the link up play, it's just watching them play, just watching the movement, just watching them play. It's really good to actually watch, because we've seen Arsenal play football where it's literally been like watching paint dry and they'll grind out a win. Somehow they'll grind out a win, and then we've watched them play the way that we played against City like last season at home, and we don't come away with any points. But it's actually good to see them turn up, play for the shirt, enjoy playing football, and come away with the points.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed, to be fair, from start to finish. I believe I see a stat that was Bournemouth's expected goals in the first half was 0.
They didn't have a touch in our box in the first half either.
Yeah, which shows total dominance and control of a
Yeah.
football match. I don't think I've ever witnessed that in all the good years at Arsenal.
Don't quote me on
A
it.
half like that. That was amazing.
Don't quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure I read this afternoon that Arsenal have only had 5 shots in the last, like, since the start of the season. They've only had 5 shots actually attempted against them,
which
On
is
target.
mad.
which is ridiculous.
It's
Absolutely ridiculous.
Considering I remember a few seasons ago, I think it was 2019-20, when we played Watford at Vicarage Road. I think that was the season Emery got sacked by November.
Hmm.
And I remember Watford having about 15, 20 shots
Yeah,
against us.
I remember that.
Yeah, because we were like all over the place defensively. So that stat is mad to see how far we've come.
That's 3 full games of football, 5
Yeah.
shots. So
It's impressive, isn't it?
yeah. To be honest, I thought we hadn't really seen much of Ramsdale, which makes sense because if nothing's coming towards him,
No.
it's not actually getting the chance to to do anything with it. But for 5 shots in 3, it's just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. But obviously, it's good because we're doing something right.
Would you guys consider changing the back line for this game, considering Mitrovic's threat at the back stick? Because I think Tomiyasu's better in the air than Ben White.
Yeah.
But-
It's a good shout.
Do you change a winning side? Well, Ben White's no mug in the air, but Mitrovic targets that back stick.
Yeah, and plus we said it on like a previous podcast that, well, I said anyway, the Leicester first goal that Ben White got caught ball watching, didn't see James Justin run across him. And like arguably we have been caught out a few times. Even Palace, Anderson kept playing that ball.
Yeah.
That they can, like, Fulham will do that with Mitrovic. So it is an interesting shout.
I don't think he will change it, but I'm sure he'd be tempted. And the other side, Zinchenko being a good foot shorter than Mitrovic, I should imagine. That could be a problem area as well.
Do you think he might drop to a back 3 and play the play Zinchenko and Tomiyasu like further forward as like wing backs for extra cover?
I doubt it, just because I mean I tend to think if he's going to make a change, it will only be in one of the fullback areas. But considering the way we've started the season, I don't think he'll change anything at all. And I don't blame him, to be fair, because we've looked really good. So
I mean, we've got 5 subs now, so if we need to do it, we can.
Yeah.
But I think it's, you can see from like watching the documentary and seeing, the type of player that they're recruiting is that they want versatile players. They want players that can play in multiple positions. So if they do need to switch it around, if we are getting, too many balls over the top, if we are looking like we're going to concede, at least we've got the options. But you don't want to defend too much and not attack enough, because we've been in that position before, haven't we? Where we defend too much, we've got nothing going forward. But I think we've got the balance right with what we've got. I think we defend well and attack well.
100%, man. Like even at the weekend, I know we're talking about the goals and that, but that first goal, like Jesus specifically, to sort of body the centre half and then control the ball in the way that he did, it like had me on the edge of my seat. And I mean, because I was watching the game with my dad, and I just looked across at him and said, like, we genuinely have a player here. Like it gets you excited.
I think we should be excited. I think his price tag 45 million from him is absolutely ridiculous. When you're seeing Anthony Gordon being 60 million, Anthony's going to be 80 plus million. Multiple players that have cost more than him, and he is literally he's changed. He's changed. Brought that mentality. He's enjoying playing his football. I like the fact that he's got that bromance with Eddie as well. It's competition, but it's good competition that can play together, can play, one or the other.
Exactly.
He's very much a team. You can see he's like a team player as well. He brings so much more than just goals. Like some of his, like watching him like tap the ball side to side, going past defenders, even if he doesn't actually score, he's got that capability of just cutting through and actually creating something. He is good. He is good to watch, and I think even neutral fans there enjoying watching that, because that's what you watch football for. It's entertaining. You want to see that.
I thought he was more on side than Rashford was at the weekend.
His
goal was chalked off, and Rashford was. They used the lines for VAR, and my opinion of it is if you have to get the lines out, it's onside.
Yeah.
Like go with the on-field decision. But the angle they did Rashford's goal for was ridiculous. You can't tell me that's accurate.
I don't even.
He looked offside to me, to be honest.
Yeah,
he did.
I didn't even see the lines that they drew for Rashford. I saw Joe Gomez's line that was drawn on his shoulder, which didn't look like it was touching his shoulder properly. But yeah, I mean, we talked about VAR last week as well. And it's like, because there was the Palace game as well, where Edouard was ruled offside. That was the worst one for me. I think Tony was ruled offside for Brentford as well. And it's like, there's such tiny, tiny margins. It just sort of ruins the game.
Yeah. No, I think Paul's right. You have to get the lines out. Just give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
if it's not actual, like, clear and obvious, if it's not an actual, like, if you've got to get the lines out, it's too difficult to call, isn't it? So you're never going to get it dead on because of angles, and you can't do things in real time. So
I don't think any of us wanted this with VAR. All we wanted was the obvious and glaring decisions not to be wrong, identification of players, not being booked 4 times or 3 times, things like that, wrong sending offs, that sort of thing. Offside should never have been a part of it for me. Should never have
penalties as well.
Yeah, anything like that. But when you have to get lines out that determine if someone's toenail is offside, which, let's be fair, some of it's been ridiculous. That's not what the game of football's about. Yeah,
because it slows it up and it just makes ruins the flow of the game, and I'm in complete agreement on that one.
It just slows everything down as well. There's nothing worse than when you're in the stadium watching a game, especially if it's like one of those high intensity games where the team's playing really well, and then they're taking like 20 minutes to decide if it's offside or not. Like with Martinelli, I can't remember the team now but they ruled his goal out as offside. And there was no way that it was offside. And I think we dropped points that game. I can't
Brighton last year.
Yeah.
Brighton.
Yeah, it was
1-0 down at home and he equalised.
I swear they took about 4 minutes. Yeah. I swear they took about 4 minutes to decide if he was onside or not.
Yeah.
Which, that's 4 minutes out of the game where we're trying to get something out of it. Obviously, we didn't get anything out of that game, did we?
No. Well, it was 1-0. It ended up being 2-0, didn't it? Shortly after. But yeah, it's because I thought Jesus was on. I actually thought Ben White was off.
Yeah, you and me both.
The second goal,
from the angle.
I think there's a lot to be desired with VAR on the way they're doing it. And like I say, if they can't do clear and proper, then go with the on-field decision, which would have been a goal for both of them. To be fair, and to be fair, the lino kept the flag down for Rashford one as well, so it would have been a goal either way. But it's just after the way they're doing it.
They need to get more clarity with it because, like with that Spurs fan, Mike Dean, Spurs against Chelsea, he is an experienced referee. You've got to look at that. If I was making that decision, or if I was, the on-field referee, would I want VAR to tell me that I've missed something? And he decided that he wanted Spurs to win or at least take some points. So he just completely ignored it and then waited for the game to finish to then come out and say that he was wrong. But you knew at the time that you were making a decision that you were wrong. So
he should be sacked for it.
Well,
100%. Like, I know he had was relieved of his duties at the weekend, wasn't he, for a weekend? Well, that's not good. That's not good enough. No, that's not good enough.
It's not the first time as a ref he's done it. He's mugged teams off. He's just made some ridiculous decisions, and then he comes out, he's relieved of his duties, and then they give him another high-profile game. He does exactly the same thing.
I'd rather he didn't say anything.
No,
he should have just kept his mouth shut and just stuck with his decision. Why come out and say you're wrong? What?
But then that's
what good is that doing anybody?
That feeds into the narrative of he likes to be the centre of attention because that has been sort of levelled at him in recent seasons.
I thought we'd got rid of the prick last year, to be honest. When he was announced at the time.
That's what I thought. I didn't realise. Yeah, I didn't realise he was like going into the VAR room and doing all that stuff. I thought he was just going to walk away from football and go and watch Tranmere.
Do you know there was a stat back in like 2012, 13, I think there was 19 Arsenal games in a row we hadn't won with him as ref.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that included losing at Bradford on penalties and things like that.
Yeah.
That's I know it's just coincidental, but it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I have to tell myself it is. Yeah, just all round really. But if we're being honest, they're all as bad as each other.
Yeah.
I bet neither of you could tell me the name of a good referee in the Premier League.
No.
No.
Not
I mean,
one.
even our considered best, Michael Oliver, he's just a little mini Hitler. He's horrible. He can't wait. He can't wait to get his cards out for petty fouls, things like that. He's an awful referee.
He's another one wants to be the centre of attention. Like sending Martinelli off at Wolves last season, he booked him for 2 instances.
He couldn't wait, could he?
No, and there have been cases like that this season with other referees as well. And like, where's the consistency? Because you're not sending like Mitrovic at Wolves, for example. Mitrovic brought down Gibbs White and then stuck his head straight into Gibbs White. Arguably 2 bookings. Arguably could have been sent off straight away. Only got booked once. Like, come on.
It's just consistency, isn't it? See, with Michael Oliver, I liked him when we played United in the semi-final, FA Cup semi-final, and I think there was a late shout for a penalty, and he just waved it. He had a really good game that game, and I think if we'd have had another referee, United would have come back and won that game. But that's when I'd first noticed him. But since then, just like with everything, the standard of the Premier League referees is absolute trash. It's not good enough.
I mean, it says it all when they don't get taken to World Cups. Well, I think Anthony Taylor might be the one that gets taken. So, if anyone gets taken.
Good grief. I hope that's a joke. I hope you're trying to wind us up.
Hey, well, he's the one that gets put on European duty. So for the Champions League, for example, he was refereeing the Maccabi Haifa game last night. But he's, I think, the only Premier League referee that gets called to do the Champions League games. He was at the Euros last summer as well, because he was the one refereeing when Eriksen collapsed.
Oh, yes, he was. Yes, you're right. He was. It was the World Cup. We had no one there, wasn't it?
Yeah.
In Russia, yeah.
Maybe he's got some contacts. Maybe he knows a few people.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it could bring back Mark Clattenburg, but I think that might be even worse.
Do you know what? I think some of these older refs, like Clattenburg, are better than what we've got now. It's only gone downhill, the standards of ref. And I know the game's quick and everything like that, and it's harder for them to keep up and blah, blah, blah. But the professional referees, they're paid huge sums of money to get, the only people on a football pitch that are not accountable. They can make horrific decisions that managers lose their jobs over.
Yeah. But I think it's got worse because of VAR, because VAR is a tool designed to help refs and they still get it wrong, which is mad.
I think it's been worse since we've had VAR.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't take any responsibility, do they? A ref will shirk a decision thinking they've got the backing of the cameras. And then whoever's operating VAR doesn't do it properly, and it's a shit show all round, to be honest. But they've lost the sense of taking responsibility.
They've overcomplicated it, haven't they? They need clarity on what is offside, what part, is it going to be the part of the body that scores the goal? If somebody's nose hair is offside, are they going to rule out the goal? You've got to have that consistency, and it can't just be one game. It can't be, it's got to be all of the games and consistency across, and that's top league, right the way down. So
I think if you offered every fan the opportunity to go back to offsides being human error, with the linos doing it, they'd snap your hand off.
Yeah.
Because at least there wasn't this many mistakes for us to be worried about it. Obviously, you're annoyed if you lose out because you should have been onside, or it should have been flagged offside against your team. You're annoyed, but it swings and roundabouts. You get pros and cons. The offsides when your shirt, or you got a bigger chest than the defender or something like that, and it's all relative as well, because your body angles are going to be different. Your attackers are going to be leaning towards goal. Your defenders can lean the other way. There's always going to be that element of crossover. They either need to change the rule or scrap it. Have daylight as a rule, or change it, or get rid of it. Until the linos, you've got to be more vigilant.
If it wasn't so inconsistent and it actually had more positives than negatives, I don't think the fans would be as bothered as they are, but it affects every single team in the league because they just each week's different. You see one foul's given or one penalty's given, and then the next week you see something similar or identical and it's not given. And then fans are like, well, last week that was a penalty, this week it's not. And it's all down to whoever's actually watching the monitor, whoever's actually, it's down to perception, isn't it? Whereas if you've got a rule that's a very black and white rule, there's no grey area. It's either is or it isn't. Then it would be more consistent. But I think it's about perception, and I do think there is a bias in with it as well. It's that power, especially with people like Mike Dean. It's that power of making that decision. He knows he's going to be in the news. He knows that people are going to be talking about him. But it's just at this level, Premier League level, it's not acceptable.
No, it's not. It's absolutely not.
Nope.
What surprised me as well, just looking at the table, West Ham at bottom of the table, 0 points, played 3, lost 3, which is quite surprising.
A couple of tough games to get them going, to be honest. They should have won at Forest. I watched that game. They absolutely battered Forest.
Yep.
City is a write-off. It's a bonus, isn't it? To teams like West Ham.
Yep.
Brighton, good travellers. Brighton, they win away a lot.
And
they look
team.
a good side. Yeah, they look a good side this year, Brighton. But West
they
Ham,
they
don't play their new signings.
Well, that's the criticism, because I was watching like a few West Ham fans that I've seen clips come off my Instagram feed and they were saying that already Moyes is under a bit of pressure, which surprised me. But they're saying that's because he's so rigid in that he has favourites and doesn't change his tactics, and like you say, he doesn't play the new signings, the fresh legs. So it's interesting because obviously they got Villa. Has they got Villa this weekend? Yeah, it's Sunday, isn't it? Yeah, so.
Yeah,
I reckon
that's away as well, Villa Park.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they'll pick up a point.
That's not going to be an easy game for them.
No.
Because Villa are going to want to start getting some points. They're going to want to obviously perform in front of their crowd. I don't think Villa Park's an easy place to go to anyway.
It never is, no.
So.
No, it's not. They got Spurs midweek as well.
They've done Spurs the last few seasons, although Spurs, you could argue, a different sort of team this year under Conte with the signings they've made as well. But
hopefully that'll be the turning point for them. They'll bag some points against Spurs, and hopefully Forest can do the same on Sunday.
Yeah, although having seen Forest against West Ham, they were saying like Forest are okay. Don't get me wrong, but West Ham should have beaten them, and I think Spurs will take the chances that they create. So
yeah. Who else we got this weekend? Chelsea and Leicester, and City and Palace. City and Palace. That's going to be a good game.
Very good game.
Is that at City?
Yeah. Palace away at Anfield.
Decent record there.
Palace played well at Anfield. They didn't let the atmosphere, get to them.
They're a counter-attacking team. I've been impressed by Palace this season because I know they had a very difficult start, obviously at home to us and then away at Liverpool. Probably should have arguably beaten Liverpool, especially when they went down to 10 men, because they still had chances after Zaha had a couple. But then they turned Villa over like it was sort of nothing at the weekend. So, and playing counter-attacking football, which sort of suits them to pose problems to City. So
they've got nothing to lose though, as well, and I think that's what's dangerous when you play a team like that with Fulham playing Liverpool. They have nothing to lose, so therefore they give them a run for it. I am impressed by Palace, and I think that's why I think we all knew that opening game against Palace away, was going to be a difficult game. But I think the way that they've played since, obviously doing Villa, getting a point from Anfield, not many teams do that, and that they were by far the better team. They should have won that game, but I think other teams are taking notice of the teams that we've actually played because of how we're also performing. So we've not. I know that they're saying that we've got the easiest run out of everybody in the league, but I still wouldn't count any of the games that we played. I still think Leicester's not an easy game.
No
I
game
don't
in the
think-
Premier League is easy, to be honest, apart from maybe
Exactly.
Bournemouth. But yeah,
Exactly. But yeah, it's going to be, and Chelsea Leicester's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I would expect Chelsea to win that. I think Leicester, until the transfer window shuts and they can have some certainty over their squad, are going to struggle a little bit.
well, if you were Leicester, would you sell Fofana and Tielemans, considering that Tielemans only got a year left on his contract and the amount being offered for Fofana?
Yeah,
absolutely. I can't believe they haven't.
And Maddison as well. Cash in on him.
Maddison, yeah. Maddison's got 3 years left on his deal, I think, so they could probably wait until next summer for that, and he still hold good value. But Tielemans, his head's not there. They had to drop him last week because his head's not there. Just take what's on offer. I think we've offered 23 million. They want 30. That we're sure we'll meet in the middle somewhere. They wanted Pepe, didn't they? It's interesting. Pepe reject them.
He didn't want to play in the Premier League. He said he didn't want to play in the Premier League. So
which means I don't want him back next year.
Yeah,
when he comes back, we have to find a solution, because that's chucking in the towel for me from him. He could have stayed here. Leicester's only a couple of hours north of London. Wouldn't even have to move home for the year. He could have played every week for Leicester, proved the point a little bit.
Yeah,
he's chosen an easy way out for me, so I don't want him back.
Unless he's sort of unsettled, but I didn't hear anything about him being unsettled at the club. Whereas obviously, if you compare it to like Torreira, I could hear him saying that Torreira after that first season just
unless it's very private. Unless it's very private, because Torreira wasn't, was he? But you hear murmurings, don't you? Even like stuff gets into the media through the agents and stuff. It's just too hard for him here, you know.
Well, the last thing,
where are we going to get any money from?
The last thing I read was like directly from him, or around that area, was when he'd put a post saying I know that he changed his agents, and he'd obviously put that, but he was ready for the new season. He wanted to play for us, and maybe he just realised he wasn't going to play unless he massively improved.
He's been told he's not playing.
Yeah.
Yep. Or only in the Europa League or the Carabao Cup or whatever.
Exactly. And I think probably this speeds up the deal now for either Zaha or Neto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I expect to see one of them at Arsenal.
Who would you take?
When the shuts. I'd take. Oh, that's like Sophie's choice, that. Because they're both great, and Neto's got age on his side, and he is a terrific player. But Zaha has got better end product. Zaha for the here and now, Neto for the project.
Yeah.
But I'm fed up with project players. I want the here and now.
Yeah. And his form as well. I think he scored like 3 and 2 or something like that.
Yeah, he's a genuine goal threat. He can cover centre forward, can play either wing. He's
and he's an Arsenal fan, which is always.
He's an Arsenal fan.
I know Neto is as well, but
we've been so much more than.
We've been linked with him for ages, literally for ages. And I was talking to my mate about this, talking to Dylan about this, and he said he's not going to leave Palace as the main man and come and sit on the bench for Arsenal. But
I bet he does. There's plenty of football to be played.
Who wouldn't want to play for Arsenal? We're obviously top of the league. I know it's only 3 games, but we're looking good. You can see that the project's there. We play good football, attacking football.
And I swear this guy has wanted to leave Palace for like the last 2 or 3 seasons, ever since that we were linked with him when we signed Pepe over him.
Yeah.
I still think we should have got him over Pepe.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
There was the installments, but obviously it worked better in the longer term financially, but it didn't work better in the. Can you actually say that we've had 72 million out of Pepe?
No.
I don't think we've had 72 pence out of Pepe. Never mind 72 million. No. Whereas if we'd have got Zaha back then, we'd have had. I mean, if we'd have got him for say 60 and we'd have paid it up front, probably didn't have it. But even if we'd have paid a bit more up front, I think you can't say what would have happened, but I think he'd have massively improved us.
Well, not only has he he's proven Premier League quality, but Emery wanted him. Emery wanted Zaha over Pepe, and the board didn't give Emery what he wanted. So,
well, hopefully we can actually bag him this time, because we're just forever being linked with him. But like watching him play, he does look like he's back at his best. And I think if he joined us, he'd step it up just like with Gabby. He's, he was great for City, but for us, he's just like, he's a different. He just looks. I don't know if it's me being biased because obviously he's